And in the season finale, the next day, the group heads into the village to see the destruction, and it is bad. I mean, Arlong really tore this place apart. But the villagers, they're ready to fight. The first thing they do is they apologize to Nami because Najiko explained everything to all the villagers and they feel horrible about it. And they want to stick up for themselves. But Nami says, no, you guys can't do that. If you do, it's a death sentence. Now, this is my fight. I'll take care of Arlong. And that's when Luffy steps in and says, no, this is our fight. So they do a surprise attack on Arlong's group in Arlong Park. They do catch him off guard, and it allows Sanji, Zoro, and Usopp to fight most of Arlong's men as both Luffy and Nami head inside to grab the map and take care of Arlong. And not shortly after they do grab the map, Arlong shows up, ready to get it back. He's not really worried about Luffy. He already tuned him up before at Barati. But the one thing you can say about Luffy is he's always confident in himself. He tells Nami to get out, he'll take care of Arlong, and the two start swinging haymakers. On the outside, while they're very, very outnumbered, the tandem of Sanji and Zoro are crushing it. They do try to get a little bit of help when Buggy says, I can feel my body, just let me out of this bag and I can help. And against his better judgment, Zoro does do that, but as soon as Buggy attaches to his body, he just runs away, escapes. Doesn't really matter, though. In the end, Zoro and Sanji took care of everybody. And Usopp, he even got a kill. When the dust settles, they took care of everybody in Arlong's crew. And that's when Nami just happens to run out. She missed it all. As she gives both Zoro and Usopp a big hug, she's thrilled to see that they're okay. They start hearing crumbling from the building where Luffy and Arlong are fighting. And that's because the two have thrown each other into the foundation so much that the building is, in fact, coming down. But they're not leaving. They're continuing to fight. Arlong gets super, super mad as he sees his building start to deteriorate, and he charges at Luffy. But Luffy extends his foot, throws it up, and then brings it down on Arlong like a guillotine, hammering Arlong through the floor. But seconds later, the building comes down. Luffy's crew is just sitting outside of it, stunned, amazed that they just lost their captain, but they didn't. Because Luffy busts through all the rubble. He's fine. And the first thing he says is, Nami, we are your friend. We are your crew. This kicks off a giant party that night in Cocoa Village because they're finally free from Arlong. Sanji whips up some meals. Even Zoro likes them. They kind of have a healthy rivalry, if you will. Usopp tells tales of his battles. But as they're enjoying the night, the Marines show up. And it's not just Garp. It's Garp, his crew, but also Captain Nezumi. Because when Garp showed up, he wanted to talk to the Marine who was kind of in charge of the area, and that is Nezumi. And Garp had heard rumors about pirate activity, but Nezumi brushed all of it aside. He tried to deflect the blame from Arlong and put all the blame on Luffy, which Kobe, who was in the room, stood up for Luffy saying, no, that's impossible. He didn't burn down Cocoa Village. He wouldn't do that. But Nezumi just tried to grandstand, and Garp put an end to the pissing contest altogether. So they show up late at night at Cocoa Village, ready to arrest Luffy and his crew on charges of burning down Cocoa Village and terrorizing the villagers. The same villagers, by the way, that they're currently partying with. Garp instructs Kobe and the rest of the Marines to arrest Luffy and his crew, but Kobe doesn't. And in fact, neither does Helmeppo. They both say, no, we're not doing it because we know that this group didn't do what you're saying they did. And both Helmeppo and Kobe are well aware that they're going to be punished for this. They're defying a direct order, but they don't care. They know that arresting Luffy and his group isn't right, and they're not willing to do that. The rest of the Marines, they have no trouble following orders, but Garp, he leaves Luffy to himself. Garp tells Luffy, I gave you every opportunity to follow my path and become a respected Marine, and instead you chose to become a pirate. But Luffy shakes his head, and he says, no, Grandpa, I've always been a pirate. Garp throws off his cape, and he says, then show me what you got. And Luffy runs at him, ready to punch, but Garp evades it. Turns out Garp is an incredible fighter with unbelievable timing, focus, and strength, and he ragdolls Luffy. Now, just like with Arlong, Luffy keeps coming, but it doesn't really matter. Garp is just way too good for him at the moment. And he tries one last-ditch maneuver. He extends both his arms and he's going to turn his body into a bullet. But even that doesn't work. Garp just sticks his arm out and he clotheslines Luffy. Garp starts making his way over to Luffy's body while giving him a speech. He says, "You don't know how difficult the world is. The Grand Line isn't some child's game. I told you, you aren't ready." But Luffy says, "You can hit me all day long, but I'm never giving up on my dream. I'm going to the Grand Line, and I will find the One Piece. And then I will be king of the pirates." And even though Garp has him dead to rights, Luffy just starts laughing. And it reminds Garp of another pirate, Gold D. Roger, who had the same laugh before he was executed. It actually gets Garp to put Luffy down, and he starts laughing. But then Garp surprises everybody. He goes, all right, have it your way. Lower your weapons. Let them go. Let's go round up the rest of Arlong's pirates and hunt them down and arrest them. The Marines take off, and they leave Garp alone in the village. And Garp tells Luffy, "I knew I'd never be able to change your mind. You're stubborn, just like me. But I know who you are, boy. I just needed to make sure that you knew it too." Because everything that Garp did, it was simply a test. And Luffy passed. Garp then says goodbye to Luffy, and he goes off to join the rest of the Marines. The next day is an emotional one for just about everybody. Nami visits her mother's grave. She lets her mother know that she was able to take down Arlong and get the village back for the people. And she's also able to change the tattoo on her arm into something more, well, not Arlong-ish. She spends the last few hours with her sister, bonding, before they have to take off. As for Luffy, he's kind of just chilling before the boat takes off when Kobe walks up. And he's come as a friend, not a Marine. He's brought a gift. It's Luffy's first wanted poster. And it's the biggest bounty in the seas, and Luffy is so excited about it. He says goodbye to Kobe, and when he rejoins his crew on the Going Merry, he excitedly shows them what Kobe brought him. And everybody's excited for Luffy. This legitimizes the fact that Luffy is, in fact, a pirate. But when the initial excitement dies down, Zoro has to let them know that, yeah, while this is cool, this isn't necessarily a good thing. It means everybody's going to be gunning after them. But Luffy doesn't care, because he's headed to the Grand Line. And as Luffy's crew takes off for the Grand Line, his wanted poster goes all over the seas. And everybody who's ever met Luffy gets really, really happy for him. Hell, Zeph even hangs the poster in his kitchen. And even Shanks, yes, Shanks, gets word of the poster when Mihawk hand delivers it to him. One of the reasons why Mihawk had let Luffy go is because he had heard about Luffy from Shanks. So Mihawk walks up to Shanks, who's just with his crew on the beach hungover, and he delivers him the wanted poster, and Shanks is so excited. The rest of his crew, they all surround Shanks with the poster, and they're excited too, because it's like the little boy that was bothering them all those years ago has finally grown up, and he's living his dream, and they celebrate. But then there's the other side. There's the people that want Luffy dead, like Buggy. He's ready to collect that bounty. And Alvida, she's certainly game to help out. As for Luffy and the crew, they've hit the seas. They've even brought a little bit of Cocoa Village back with them. They've got a bunch of tangerine trees on the deck. And then they do a little bit of a ceremony to remind themselves why they're doing this. They get a barrel, they put one foot on it, and they go around in a circle reminding each other what their dreams are. Finding the All Blue, finding the One Piece, becoming the best swordsman, you get the idea. Oh, and finally, as for Kobe and Helmeppo's punishment, they don't get a punishment. They go to Garp wanting to know what it's going to be, but Garp says no. You stuck up for what you believed in, and that's being a Marine. He plans on actually rewarding these two guys by helping train them to be what they want. And for Kobe, that's getting stronger and learning how to fight. For Helmeppo, he wants to learn how to use a sword as good as Zoro. Now it's just a matter of putting in the work. And that is the end of One Piece Season 1. Thank you so much for getting this part of the recap. I really appreciate it. Consider subscribing to the channel. Hit thumbs up if you like this video. Smash that thumbs down button if you thought this video absolutely sucked. Be nice in the comments section, because nasty comments, they make me feel bad. And do me a favor, go buy some merch or something. Just don't drop one piece. Drop like 20 pieces, because I got bills to pay and diapers aren't cheap. Give me your theories about Season 2. And once again, thank you so much for watching.